Welcome to Front Range Facts. This is Anthony Meisner.
And this is Jim Merrion.
And we're here to bring you your Colorado market update for the month. Let's dive straight into showing traffic.
Yeah, so showing traffic right now, we're at about 10% above where we were at January 1st, but still is only about 5% for the year, I think, as far as showing traffic?
Yeah, we're down just a little bit from where we were this time last year, but we really were trending very hot for the third quarter. Fourth quarter, starting to slow down here just a little bit. But if we look at average days to sell a home, interestingly, it is very different across the state. Pueblo being so much worse than everywhere else at 87 days in MLS. But really, looking at Jefferson County, still, down in the 30s.
Yeah, Weld is at, 64 days or 65 days or so. So I think, with a lot of the new construction they have, they're having just some headwinds in, how long it takes to sell.
True. But when we look at median sales price and how much that's changed by county, this is so different than the days in MLS, right? Pueblo, obviously, taking a lot longer to sell. Purchase prices are coming down pretty strongly, up just above 6%. Arapahoe County, about 4%. Jefferson County, just slightly, maybe 1% drop. But Denver's actually up about 2 and a little bit.
And Larimer's doing well as well.
Yeah. So even with all these headwinds, prices are still holding strong in most of these counties. The median home price, though, for August, Jim?
Yeah, we got Douglas County as the winner right now. Median home price is $740,000. So they're going really strong. And there you can see in Pueblo, they're only at about $350,000. So there's almost a $400,000 gap between those counties. And of course, a few hours distance driving, but it shows a dramatic difference between different parts of the state.
If we look at Colorado income versus home prices, we are having the largest delta in the history since this has been recorded. And that just creates a really big affordability problem, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the percentage change right now is so drastic. I think this is really where you're feeling that pinch, right? Not that it's actually a housing price problem. It's really just that income hasn't kept up.
Well, the interest rates aren't helping. So it's a, perfect storm between that and the interest rates.
It is. Now, if we're looking at this map,
yes,
days on market by county.
Yeah, so, what we're seeing here is, let's look at the non-unicorn years, that 2017 and 2019 period, and compare days on market now to what that looked like then. And as you can see, throughout the metro area, we're up anywhere from about 28 to 84% more days on market than we were back then. So certainly things are taking longer to sell than they were before the COVID years.
Absolutely. Now, and when we look at certain specific zip codes, we're talking the Broomfield area here. We're looking at a change of about 50%.
More active listings, yeah. So the active listings certainly has increased. Again, 26% on the low end for the metro area, up until 90% in some of the areas around the metro area.
Yeah, so lots of active units on the market for those buyers that are really hard to find right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, single-family homes across statewide. So we kind of look at this. It comes from CAR, and this metric tells us really how many more new listings are coming on the market. We're up about 3% is all from this time last year. So even though we've had large increases in active units of inventory, they've really come back down with a lot of expired listings.
I think, though, the fact that inventory of actives only increased 8%, considering the headwinds we just were talking about with the price gap between income and home prices and the interest rates, this is actually a pretty decent, number to see that, we're not having a huge jump in inventory, which would cause greater price pressure.
Well, the craziest part about that, the price pressure, the average sales price of a home is up 5% from this time last year, and the median's up 1.7%. Yeah. Now, on the flip side of the coin, why you're seeing markets suffer so much would be the condo townhouse market in the same areas are drastically worse off.
Yeah, so that median sale price is about 2.5% less, so that's dropped down. And the month supply of inventory has crept up to over 12%.
It has. So new listings are actually down finally in this part of the market. I think a lot of people are just taking that inventory off the market and doing something else with it because it is so challenging. 5.5 months of inventory for the condo townhouse market across the state.
And we're getting some, a decent increase in pendings, 3% almost increase in pendings. So there's some, good, headwinds going, or tailwinds going on right now.
There are. So let's talk median price. I think if you look at the history of the median sales price, it can give us some indication of what's happening and why. And, year over year change as far as the single family homes are concerned, 1.7% up in the median. You can see that there, but it's been really, really stable, the last couple of years. And we don't even see a lot of seasonality in there because buyers are controlling the narrative. Now, if we get into that, attached market, you can start to see that kind of slow erosion of that purchase price.
But it's lessened with the townhomes. I mean, there's up to like 6%, when you were looking at month over month changes throughout the year, at one point it was down 6%, the prices were. So we're seeing it basically flatline, which is...
Stability is great.
Yeah.
And if we look at active units on the marketplace, obviously lots more seasonality in the detached market, but 8% more units there. And in the attached market, you really have seen that rise quite a bit as well. And that's about a 7% increase up to 8,000 units. Comparing this back historically, Jim, really, where are we even close to?
Well, I mean, it's great though, because like there was, like when we were reporting this early in the summer, there was 30% increases year over year in inventory levels. It was looking like a really dark time to be a condo or townhome owner trying to sell. So we're seeing a great moderation in what that is. A lot of pullback from people who apparently don't need to sell. So they're taking their homes off the market, keeping inventory levels light enough to have almost a recovery occur.
And as far as days on market are concerned, we've been trending very similar for the last few years between attached and detached, and we're finally starting to see some of that separation take place. Detached homes are just moving faster, right? And with that being said, they're still up 20%, taking longer to go under contract than they were before. But the attached market, basically 11 days longer than the detached counterpart.
And then, we've been tracking since 22, what, REOs, lender-mediated type of transactions, foreclosures look like. And the good news is they're very stable, very few that are happening still in the state. So it's helping to keep prices stable.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always good news to hear that nothing horrible or catastrophes are happening in the marketplace.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us for the state update. Don't forget to check out the national market update that we do. I'm Anthony Meisner with Land Title. You can reach me at 303-968-9868.
I'm Jim Merrion, realtor here at Global Banker. Give me a call at 303-548-0243 or shoot me an email to jim@liveherecolorado.com.